Access denied.
I like that sound.
I do too.
How you feel today, Birds World? We got a big show for you.
You know what? I feel alright. I'm in awe of what's been going on.
I mean, especially with how things are going right now. The climate of the world right now. We all know what's going on. We have a lot of different movements going. And since we do represent the black culture, I won't say that we represent the whole black culture of Ohio. But as a black man that's been in Ohio his whole life,
Yes.
I definitely want to say that I should have an opinion on, what's going on out there. How you feel about that?
No, I definitely agree with you. I got an opinion myself because it just ain't right. Like you said, we try not to get too political, but we do want to talk about being a black person in Ohio, and just how we feel.
And most importantly, like I said, it's not just about being a black person. I want to make this podcast and I want to make this conversation more so about just being a human being.
Right,
And
right.
just the positive rights that you should have as a human being in general.
Right.
Me as an adult man, I mean, not like my boy said, I'm a man. Not like my boy from Oklahoma, the coach. But like I said, I'm a grown man and I've been on this earth for quite some time now. And, for the most part, I gotta say, people have changed. But then you crank open the old YouTube, you crank open the old Twitter, and then you start seeing different things that you are not accustomed to seeing, or because we're on quarantine, we don't get an opportunity to see. And you realize that things haven't changed like you thought they did.
No.
You realize that things haven't changed like you really want them to change. And it makes you sad. But it does open up the opportunity to have another conversation about it, and that's what I think we need.
I definitely agree with you, man.
Well, if you had I don't want to say if you had a person that was, white, they can be Chinese. I mean, like I said, I've experienced racism from all different cultures. It's just not the Caucasian culture. It's, I went into restaurants, Latino restaurants, I thought I was Latino, you know what I'm saying?
Stop it.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, I went into restaurants and I felt uncomfortable. I felt like, man, listen, what's going on? What's happening? What we about to do? What's going to happen when we leave here,
It just felt like it was a target on our back.
And it wasn't like scared or uncomfortable feeling like that.
Yeah.
It was just an uncomfortable feeling like you out of place.
Right.
I had to play the booth for that. I done played it a couple times, but you should never feel out of place, especially when you're over there supporting, because like they like to say, my brown brothers right there, So, like I said, man, I've been into different places when I went to Greek restaurants where, it was nothing but love. They brought out different snacks and different treats just to try, just for us to not even pay for it, but I want you guys to just taste our culture and stuff, so.
Like you said, it's all about the person, how they was raised, how they grew up, and what they believe in, their values. It's all about them as they own individual person.
I love it.
You're exactly right about that, man. And, the conversation that we was talking about people having is about generational. We can talk about the generation before us,
Yeah.
or we can talk about the generation after us. But what people say is they breed in hate,
Yeah.
or you was bred into hate.
Right.
So it's one or the other. And my thing is, like I said, for the most part, I've been around a lot of positive people. But, like I said, being a black minority owner, I've experienced it to the 10th, 12th, 15th degree. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
I've walked to a person's house, knocked on their door to provide a service for them, and they looked like, where's the other guy? Not because I didn't look like I was qualified for the job, not because I was some puny guy.
It's because the impression they have of black people, or
Yeah.
the way you look.
Yeah, and of course, what do I look like stealing something out of your drawer?
Exactly.
I don't think most black people are those type of people, especially nowadays. Most people that I see stealing is those, I don't want to say crackhead, but hair around here is nowadays.
A thief is a thief. It don't matter what color they come in.
Oh, yeah. You can be purple.
If you steal it, you steal it.
Now, like I said, my whole thing about everything, and I just got to say this, how strong our community has shown us, not just become, because we always been strong.
Yeah.
We've always had that narrative that if you mess with us, we might let, I mean, like I said, we might let it slide the first time. We'll give you a pass. But now, no.
They done united.
Yeah, because all you need is a fist.
Exactly.
And you get this one guy, and you get this one guy, all you need is 5. And like I said, at the end of the day, we're using our words, we're using our actions, and I think we're doing it in a mature way. Now, of course, we got a couple knuckleheads out here that's doing a little bit of bull stuff.
No.
But, you know, for the most part, and you know what, I do got to say this, when we talk about a lot of movements, we don't talk about women in the movements. Of course, we mentioned Rosa Parks like that was the only person part of civil rights. And like I said, we talk about Tamir Rice, we talk about different people, but we don't really say a lot of things about women in the movement. But what I've been seeing from social media, it's been a lot of women speakers.
Yeah.
And that's different. You know, that's different. When we think about speakers, we think about Malcolm X. You know, we think about Martin Luther King.
You think about the people that we idolize and that they made us to idolize. You know, but it's so many more people. It's people behind them. It's people in front of them. It's people on the next to them.
Preach.
And there's always a woman somewhere around. Like you said, it's been a lot of them. A lot of them. And I was surprised not to just see a lot of women, just see a lot of people.
Yeah.
People of all colors, genders, professions, just
ages.
Coming together as one person. Like, no, y'all gonna stop this.
Oh yeah, and like I said, the ages. I mean, I've seen a lot of our youth, you know, really like stand up. Like, listen. I understand that it might have been like this back in the day,
Right.
but we putting a stop to that right now.
Yes.
We putting a stop to that right now.
Yes.
Man, come on. Let me go ahead and give him a round of applause. Hey, man, you know what? I wish I ain't had this bad knee. You know, I wish I ain't had this bad knee because I'd be out there standing up protesting with my sign, too. But, I mean, all seriousness, when we get back, I want to talk about a couple of experiences that I personally had. You know, experiences that you were with me.
Yeah.
Experience that was maybe prior or times where we weren't together. And it was just, it was scary situations, you know. And I can tell you about some of my friends that were maybe in the same place as me, did the same thing as me, that didn't even have to experience anything like me, you know. And that's not just when we were kids, you know. That's almost present right now. So, and I know you got the same experience too.
Yeah, I got a couple of experiences.
Just a couple?
You know, but
I know you got a couple things that you want to talk about. And then, like I said, I do want to bring the children in, you know. I do want to talk to them about how, you know, they look at things, how they're going right now, you know. Like they said, children are our future. I don't want to sing it, but children are our future, right? We'll be back with you guys. I mean, that was pretty fast. I mean, that break wasn't too long, was it?
Nah, it wasn't. Not at all.
I mean, like they said, it's the last break. This your last 15. You better get that cigarette in. You already know. You better get that cigarette in. But listen. Let me get back to exactly what we wanted to do. I wanted to keep on talking about Black Lives Matter. And not just Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, the movement, the petitions.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're talking about looting and rioting, but they didn't talk about all the hard work that it took to do these protests. You know, you have to go ahead and have these petitions out. You got to have permits with the city. You have to go through all these steps just to be able to voice your opinion. And nobody even said nothing about that. The first thing they said was somebody broke into Cleveland Indian Stadium. Somebody broke into the Cavaliers. Come on, man.
Yeah.
It was disrespectful. You didn't say it. And then, you know what? Let me not even say all that, you know. Because I was going to get into Mayor Jackson he represents Ohio because he's a mayor in a bigger city in Ohio. And for him to say certain remarks about, you know, a culture, you know, and a people that he built his career off of, you know, I think it's just kind of messed up. And also, my guy in Youngstown, you know, the new mayor we got down there, you forget that he's black because of his politics. But, you know, I don't want to say too much about that. Yeah, they're going to boo me off. They're going to boo me off. They're telling me to be quiet. So I ain't going to talk about that. But I do want to talk about incidents, personal incidents, right?
everybody got a personal incident.
Yeah, and I want to talk about one, specifically about my son. One time, like I said, and I don't want to take it to the extent where it's situations where we're talking about people getting beat down, and we all had those stories, but I just want to talk about prejudice. I
Yeah.
think that's so much worse than racism. I think that's so much more demoralizing. It's more mental. It really sticks with you the whole time.
Yeah.
And I remember, like I said, I'm not gonna say nobody name.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to say the name on too much. I don't want to get sued, but it was a coach. That was a coach for one of the
The local high schools.
local high school athletic team. We're not going to
Yeah.
say what team it is.
Yeah.
But it was an athletic team, and we don't want to say what sport it was, but it was a summer sport, one of those sports that a kid dreams to play, hopes to get a scholarship, and then further their career and be Odell Beckham or somebody. I don't know. I don't know. But, like I said, I remember, going through the hoops of paying for extra camps. I remember getting on this kid about, him not being able to understand certain things and certain aspects of the game that I just thought was very simple and basic.
Right.
And then I really sat back and I looked at what was going on, and I realized that it wasn't no individual coaching. It wasn't no coaching at all. I mean, I understood that they didn't even have a playbook. Am I lying? And they didn't even have a playbook. And when you ain't got a playbook, when you don't have coaches that can teach you how to do certain things, then it's frustrating, right?
Right.
But this is why I bring it up in a racism and prejudice in sense. This guy was one of those guys that preyed on local inner city kids. One of those guys that go out and recruit but don't recruit, and they leave you to fend for yourself once you get to the school. When you're on that field, hey, high five, good job. Hey, look, I can even give you a ride home. I know you walking extra 15 miles home because you don't live in this district. But yeah, like I said, the off the field things were very hard. The individual things and the expectations that they have for people, I thought was just outrageous. And then when I realized that the guy was not only was he recruiting people, and he was getting a kickback,
Right.
and he was one of the people that was, and I don't want to say it, I don't want to get sued, I don't want to say it, but he was the guy that handled the sponsorships, the advertisements for the
He was heavily involved.
Yeah, he was
heavily involved.
I mean, listen, he got paid. You understand? And like I said, he made it seem like he was a homeboy, and he knew this guy and he knew that guy, and he can help you out in a community, right? But when he looked at the community, he just looked at it as a word, community.
Yeah.
He didn't actually even know the streets that you stayed on. He was a white guy from the suburbs that had a couple cool slogans and turned himself into black and duped these little black kids into, maybe leaving their friends, maybe blowing off a couple things that could have been, fun or cool for them to commit to something where he was just trying to get paid for it. And when I seen what he was doing, it was some kids that was pretty good, black kids that was pretty good. So he was like just strictly on them,
Yeah.
He was neglecting all the other kids. He didn't have no need for them. He just needed to get the muse out there. And when you look at stuff like that now, now that the guy's not there no more, you look at it how he brainwashed them kids. And now them kids sitting up there with different coaches. Half of them ain't on the team no more. Half of them got kids on the way. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's messed up how these guys come over there as father figures because they want to make sure that the black man is not out there to take care of their kid. And if he is, oh yeah. Do you see Sandra Bullock? I mean, like, this is Blindside all over again.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. And like I said, now that you look at these kids now, they went in there 9th graders, 10th graders. Now they're coming out 11th and 12th graders, and they don't have nobody for them. And the people that they thought they had for them wasn't there. And now they realize this guy's on to the next big thing. Now he's even getting more money. Now he's doing different things. And he just used them. And people don't look at it as that's racist, right? But that's dirty, man. They doing our youth bad. How you gonna let somebody come in and just take away your youth without even saying I'm putting up a fight? this is the things that the protest is about also. You know, it's not just about how they're killing black people from the police, because like I said, it's just not the police killing black people, you know. So like I said, that's why I like the movement. There's so many different things, and there's so many different issues that you can finally get off your chest and talk about. I know you got things you got to talk about. I know you definitely got things.
This has been part 1. Make sure you stay tuned.